What's poppin', Real 16 TV? It's Cuzzo P here, back with another reaction. This time we're reacting to Adam asked Tommy G if he's a culture vulture. Culture vulture. My bad, I said that shit funny. But obviously this is on No Jumper Clips, so you can watch the full thing on there or continue to watch my shit. Let's go ahead and start the screen recording in 3, 2, 1. Video playing now.
Do you see a lot of people who kind of act like you're doing some culture vulture shit? Like, even when I said that I was doing this content with you in my group chat, there's like, most of the people fuck with you. It was like one person was like, I don't know about that dude, man. He just be white boy going to the hood, yada yada. Like, how do you take that
I don't
criticism?
super care about it, but I do think it's kind of weird when I look at it.
These guys are DMing me, so like, I don't have a network around the country of random people. Like, I'll get a guy from Philadelphia will message me, a guy from Miami will message me, and then I'll line it up. And then as far as the culture vulture thing goes, I mean, I don't think I'm pretending to be anything that I'm not. I'm not walking in here acting like I'm some big dog, some big gangster.
A normal white guy.
I know exactly who I am. I'm a kind of nerdy, weird white guy who likes to wrestle and do jujitsu and read books and go walk in the woods. So I'm not fronting on anything. And the other thing is, like, I think the whole cultural appropriation thing, I see both sides of it, but the stance I kind of see it...
Before he says it, cultural appropriation really is more like a motherfucker copying your hairstyle, copying what you doing and all that shit. A culture vulture, which I don't want to say what he is, but it's kind of like a motherfucker that comes over to something that we doing that nobody else in your family would do, nobody else fuck with. It's okay to be the first time, but nobody fucks with it, and you basically are making money off of something a person that's black could have did. But in that same stance, why ain't your black ass be the one doing this Tommy G shit if you're watching this? So it's the same shit. Why aren't you running around doing some Nico
Okay,
Roll
does that mean
shit?
If you're not German, do you not get to eat bratwurst? If you're not a Greek, do you not get to run a marathon? Like, where do we want to draw the line?
That's not the same as cultural appropriation, bro. Cultural appropriation is like, I don't know. I think it's like taking something and acting as though it's yours. Like, not as though it's yours, but just like overdoing something. That's not the same thing as cultural appropriation.
And the reason people come to America is because we have so many interesting flavors going together. I can walk down the street, I can eat Afghani, I can eat Jamaican, and that's why I love this place.
I can't where I'm at. That's only on the edges of this
map. Ripping off ideas, claiming them as your own, pretending to have a different persona, I think you're a piece of shit. But I think if you're genuine and you're exploring people, like, I'm going to explore the witches, I'm going to explore the guys in Miami that are gangsters, I'm going to go to a Jewish holiday. Like, I'm just trying to get a flavor of a life that's not mine.
Yeah,
and
he's just creating the documentary.
I feel like you get a pass from a lot of people because you seem like you just have such a good heart overall, you know? And like you said, like, ignoring the beef stuff, I think that probably goes a long way, you know?
Okay.
Also, I think I'm more than fair in the fact that I might do 3 or 4 revisions. Like, the Certified Trapper video that we have out, if you see how many blurs are in that video, that was a colossal investment of time. But because he's local Milwaukee, I would get it, then I would drive to his house, show him it, and not this part, you know, maybe his boy would watch it, that part, go back home, we'd edit it. So
that's cool.
I'm more than happy to make people comfortable with what's coming out, and so I feel like that's another way that
you gotta appreciate that. At least he's putting some care into his job.
I like it. Who do you consider the GOATs on YouTube that you really look at and you're inspired by? I'm assuming Mr. Beast is probably near the front of the line in terms of just people.
Adam 22, Gilly the Kid, not in this order, of course. I used to love Tax Tone's ass. He was great. DJ Vlad, of course. Say Cheese TV's ass. Innovators is cool. I fuck with Innovators. He newer, but he good too. Lil Blood TV is hard. I feel like I'm Joe Rogan, of course. I feel like I'm missing some people. Oh, I love Flagrant. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing some line in the mix.
Shit as far as it could be taken.
I admire what he's doing. His style of content. I don't watch a ton of YouTube. Like, what I grew up on was the craziest Vice documentaries. Like, we're gonna go watch child labor in a Mexico mine and watch a 6-year-old go to a mine. We're gonna go to a Russian billionaire. That stuff to me was fascinating. But as far as currently on YouTube, who's really doing a remarkable job? I am a big podcast guy. So, like, Theo Von, to me, is one of the funniest, silliest guys. If I'm ever feeling down, I'll put on a Theo Von podcast, and I'm going to be laughing within the first few minutes.
Right.
Joe Rogan is a guy that's like revolutionized the podcast space, and just I've learned so much from like the Tim Ferrisses, the Joe Rogans, the Lex Friedmans. All these guys have just, it's been,
I fuck with Lex Friedman.
This shit's on a college education. I just need to listen to a podcast. I need to go experience stuff hands-on, but I'm trying to think of like a YouTube guy. I'll mention from the jiu-jitsu beef, I like both of these guys. I like Brandon Buckingham. I like Danny Mullen. I think they're both clever. They're witty.
Danny Mullen.
They make me laugh. I like guys that aren't fitting into a box. Like you see so many street interviews that it's like you see 50 people ask the same question, like, does size matter? Or like stuff like that, and it's like anyone that is truly like practicing their craft, and you can tell like they really care about what they're putting out, I'm cheering for.
The man on the street stuff is so weird because that has just become such a gigantic genre online, on TikTok, on YouTube, whatever. Do it, but and I actually did it for like basically the first time at the porn convention. And that was the weird thing, is like you realize that if you can put a lot of effort and time into coming up with clever questions, but sometimes like the deep industry type questions or the questions that are more thoughtful seem like they perform worse when you're doing the man on the street stuff, and then the stupid shit really does rise to the top. The incentives are fucked on there.
There's when I grew up, I was listening to a lot of underground rap, and there's a guy named Immortal Technique that I used to listen to a lot, and he has a line that says, when you go platinum, it has nothing to do with luck. It just means that 1 million people are stupid as fuck. And I really like that line because if you look at some of the stuff, the most views, the most streams, the most this, it's not always the best singer, the best performer, the best this or the best that. It's the mainstream Kim Kardashian catchy shit that people consume. And I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to be a snob and say I'm above that kind of taste, but I think the people that I admire innovate in some way. I don't care if you're a man on the street, but
that's true.
Make it your own in some way. And that's how, going back to maybe the cultural appropriation thing, like what innovation and creation is taking one idea and then adding a new twist to it to take it to the next level. And that's how we advance. Like no one just starts out with it's really hard to start off with a completely new concept that no one's ever thought of or ever heard of in their life.
That's a better way of putting it, like taking it and making your own. Instead of just like, how I put it earlier might have been a little clumsy, but taking something and making your own isn't cultural appropriation. Taking something and just leaving it the same and making money off of it is kind of cultural appropriation.
They say, I saw this computer does this, and I'm going to add this headphone jack. You take ideas from different places and you make it better, and that benefits society.
Yo, we just hit 400,000.
On some Avatar Last Airbender shit. We're going to start the screen recording right there. What I mean by that is, if you remember on Avatar The Last Airbender, what is his name, Iroh, he was like, I learned this shit from the waterbenders. So basically, if you pick up tips from different people around you, you can learn a whole bunch. You don't have to just use obviously you gotta use the cards that you were dealt. You can't change the cards that you were dealt, but you can pick up different skills from other people that have different cards. If that makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Just like, subscribe, and share. Continue to fuck with me. Like bro said, you already watched it to the end. You might as well fuck with me.